Hi everyone. Welcome to week 6 in human biology, and I'm Brenda Guston, your instructor. So glad you're still hanging in there with me. We're more than a third of the way through the course, so you're moving right along. Um, it sounds like a while ago, but I wanted to talk a little bit about exam number 1. Remember when we had week number 5 last week? I actually made this video before exam number 1 was completed. So this is my first chance to talk about that. And it's particularly important because exam number 2 comes up next week in week 7. So it has been typical, especially in my online courses, that the first exam grades can be a little bit lower than the grades for the rest of the semester, because I think a lot of times students just kind of coast through all the practice things and don't really necessarily use them to learn the material and to remember the material. So remember, when you're doing those adaptive learning things, they're there to be able to get you to think about the material and reinforce it, and not just race through them and just get them right, or not to just race through them to fill in your notes, but you want to try to remember some of the content, review it, and then do your adaptive learning questions, and that will help reinforce it. The other thing is, when I'm writing the exams, I literally sit there with the lecture study guides that I give you, the exact same ones, and the learning outcomes and the vocabulary, and I look down those and I write questions based on those. So look them over. It's important. That's where I'm getting the content. So you want to review those several times before you take the exam. And what we know about learning is repetition. The more you repeat it, the more you'll get it stuck in your head. The other one that I really think is important is to say things out loud. So when you read a vocabulary word, say the definition out loud. When you look at a learning objective, explain the concept out loud. And no matter what you're trying to learn, that can be a really great way to do it. So repetition, saying things out loud, and practice it. And don't just study the night before. It's again that one of the other things we know about learning is learning gets solidified in your mind when you're sleeping. So if you just study the night before and that's it, you've lost the advantage of having multiple times that you've gone to sleep to reinforce that material or to solidify it in your mind. So study in shorter periods of time over a longer period of time. So that brings us, like I said, to week 6. Again, let me just back up about the test. One more thing is, if you really feel like you struggled and you have no idea how you didn't do well, go back and look at the exam. You can click on the exam. Um, you can see what you got wrong, and go look at those in your notes. Are the answers in your notes? Do you have inadequate notes? And review like that. And you can always talk to me and have any questions, or just want me to quiz you a little bit before the test. I'm glad to do that kind of thing. So here we are in week 6. There's a lecture study guide. We're going to be talking about blood. And the material, I think, is pretty straightforward, but I do find, so lecture, I think you'll find pretty straightforward, pretty normal stuff about blood. The lab handout, we go into blood typing. And blood typing is kind of one of those things that some students just pick it up right away and really get it. Other students really struggle with it. So if blood typing, and you talk about what blood type are they, who can they donate to, who can they receive from, and this is going to be relevant to anybody. It's not just science people or not just people going into nursing that need to understand blood and blood types. So if you're struggling with blood type, don't put it off to the last minute and do your lab at the last minute. Leave yourself some time, that if you need to talk to me about it, you have time to contact me, and we could talk about it if you need to. So there's a lab quiz, and pretty much like every other week. So good luck. I'm looking forward to hearing from some of you this week, and you should be getting yourself ready for exam number 7 next week. Take care.